Welcome back to another episode of our Kings related podcast, wherever you may be. And this recap of the Sacramento Kings tough loss on this Wednesday evening. A short-handed Kings team gave the Denver Nuggets all they could handle tonight, but in the end, the calls did not go the Kings' way, and the Denver Nuggets escaped with a 6-point win, 116 to 110. And I'll say it. I don't think the officiating was great on both teams. I thought it was unfavorable. But this was an impressive effort, given all the adversity. You're down two starters in Domantas Sabonis and Malik Monk, and it feels like the Kings, they let this game slip away, and they gave this game away. Because the Kings, they were in control. They were in full control of this game. You held a really good Denver Nuggets team to under 30 points in 3 of the 4 quarters. And it was that fourth quarter. In my opinion, that's where the Sacramento Kings lost this game, was in the fourth quarter. I thought it was a fourth quarter collapse, bad decisions, and execution in that fourth. And what the Kings were doing in that first half, they were not doing in the second half. So just a few things to point out before I get into my in-depth review here of this game. But the Kings, the thing I was looking for is those non-Nikola Jokic minutes. The Kings lost those minutes, 22-9. Not great. In the second half, 12 points in the paint. That's 6 for 17 from the field. The bench, 0 points in that second half. Not great. I thought they were good in the first half, but absolutely nothing in the second half. Again, 0 points from the bench there. The Denver Nuggets, 26 and 16 on second chance points, 16 for 16 to 6 in the second half for the Denver Nuggets, and the Sacramento Kings attempted 25 threes in the game tonight. So tough loss, because you were in control for most of this game, but you let this game slip away. Even though you went 3-1 on this road trip, you took care of business against the Utah Jazz. You beat a really good Houston Rockets team. You beat a banged up Dallas Mavericks team, and your 4-game win streak comes to an end in a game where you might look back at regretting not getting at the end of the day. But now, just a couple things. Jake LaRavia showed up in this game. the first, like in that first half, the first few minutes he checked into the game, he had 11 quick points to start his night as he came off the bench and is there in the first half. But Laravia got up a couple of threes late in Monday's win against the Dallas Mavericks. Maybe got him going to start tonight. And I felt like maybe Monday night that carried over to this game against the Nuggets. And Jake LaRavia, he caught fire early in the first half, scoring 11 points, as I mentioned, of his 15 points in the first quarter. He hustled, hit his threes, and made a huge difference also on the defensive end. DeMar DeRozan, after a slow first quarter in this game, I thought DeMar got it going there in that second and in the third. And DeMar DeRozan, he was 2 of 12 to start the game from the field, but that didn't deter him, as DeMar DeRozan finished with a team high 35 points. He was 14 of 32 shooting, including 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. DeMar DeRozan, the 3-point shooter, we never knew. It feels like JV is filling in just nicely here on this Kings team, and filling in while Sub is out. And with Sabonis out, JV is doing his best impersonation of his Lithuanian brother, as JV finished this game with 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists in this game. And watching JV in this game battle with Jokic, just incredible in this game. And if you want to keep score, in the head-to-head matchups between Jokic and JV, Jokic is now 14-8 against JV. The other fill-in with Malik Monk out, Keon Ellis got the start as the starting point guard in this game. And Ellis, as usual, he was a menace, absolute menace on defense, and he finished this game with 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and also 2 blocks in this game. Just absolutely incredible. Keon Ellis, he brought that energy that Malik Monk usually provides for this team. Just absolutely incredible. So a slow start, big finish, but with DeMar DeRozan taking the bulk of the shots, Zach LaVine was mostly quiet in this game. At halftime, Zach only had 6 points at the half, but he came alive late in this game. Hit a couple of big buckets in that fourth, but it wasn't enough. But Zach, he managed to score 20 points. He also grabbed 4 rebounds, dished out six assists, and his 3-point shooting late was impressive, but not enough to get the Kings over the hump. But it did keep them alive, but not enough to put them over in the win column on this Wednesday night. And the tallest of tasks, Doug Christie, he mixed up his defense um, to combat the three-time MVP Jokic. He used Keegan Murray. I thought Keegan was phenomenal on the defensive end. Even though he had a quiet night offensively, he was in foul trouble for a lot of this game. He had 5 fouls, but Keegan Murray was absolutely phenomenal on the defensive end. He had 2 unbelievable blocks in this game, but he used Doug Christie used Keegan Murray for long stretches on Jokic, and he did a pretty solid job of limiting the triple-double machine that is Nikola Jokic. But a few things also I want to point out. The officiating was bad, not just for the Kings, but for both sides. And it's kind of true, but they did favor the Nuggets a lot in this game. If you just look at the free throws in this game, the Nuggets 80% from the free throw line. The Kings only 14 free throws in this game. The Denver Nuggets shot 30 free throws in this game. Just absolutely inexcusable. DeMar DeRozan, just 4 free throw attempts in this game alone for him. And that's where a lot of DeMar DeRozan, where he gets a lot of his buckets, is there at the free throw line. Just absolutely, the officiating was bad on both sides in this game, and maybe the Kings got a favorable offensive foul, call it so, but the Kings consistently did not get any calls tonight. 0 free throws. 0 in the second or third quarter in this game, despite some very, and I mean very, aggressive defense by the Denver Nuggets. But I do not care about a loss on the road to the Nuggets on the last game of a road trip. Going into this game, I chalked this up. I chalked it up as a loss before it started, because I thought a 3-1 road trip, fantastic, because you're in Denver at elevation, and Denver at home is always tough. I just want to watch good basketball, and with that officiating in this game, that was not fun to watch. The fourth quarter was almost all on the Kings, and then you had one on Keon Ellis, on Jamal Murray. The 3 were I'm trying to think. It was Keon who fouled Jamal Murray on a 3. They called him for a foul. That was not a foul. Keon Ellis got the ball. It was a block. But because the Kings did not have any challenges, the Kings were actually successful on both their challenges. And this is where the challenge is kind of useless. I believe if you have 2 successful challenges, you should get 1 freebie late in the game. And I think that if you had a 3rd challenge, maybe you could have done that, but that wasn't a foul. That was a clean block by Keon Ellis. But it's frustrating watching a team unable to grow a lead, but because they cannot get a call. Just really frustrating to watch. But in this game, the Kings, they showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of grit without two of your starters and Sabonis and Monk. And I understand Denver's always a tough place because you're in there in elevation, but you had an extra day. You had yesterday off. But I love the fight. But you just couldn't get over the hump to make this a 4-0 road trip. The Kings are now 32-29 on the season. But the Kings, they lost this game in the fourth quarter collapse. That's where the Kings really lost this game, in my honest opinion. But even though a little upset, but thankfully, because of the wins on this road trip and that win against the Charlotte Hornets, that blowout win, thankfully, the Sacramento Kings, they put themselves in a position where a loss like tonight, this doesn't kill them. They're right now 10th, I believe. The last time I checked, the Los Angeles Clippers were losing at home. I'll give you an update here in a moment, but a loss like tonight doesn't kill them. They're still in a great spot. I think right now, I think they're playing the best basketball of the season. And now you got a game on Friday night. It's going to be a emotional game. It is the first game back in Sacramento for De'Aaron Fox, a Spurs team that I believe is 13th in the West. They're coming to Sacramento 2 days off. They beat the Brooklyn Nets, I believe it was yesterday. But the Sacramento Kings, they know better than anyone how dangerous a pissed off De'Aaron Fox can be on Friday. But De'Aaron Fox and the San Antonio Spurs, they should be a little worried about a pissed off Kings team after they gave this game away tonight. The way they played in the first half tonight, if they play like that on Friday night for all 4 quarters, they should walk out of that arena with a W. And you don't have Wemby. Stefan Castle is playing out of his freaking mind for the San Antonio Spurs, who's on his way to becoming the Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. But it's a Spurs team that you should win. Without Wemby, it's not a great Spurs team. You cannot lose games like that on Friday. Handle your business at home. You're gonna have a sold out Golden One Center on Friday. It's a Friday night, and it's Fox's return to Sacramento. So, and another thing from this game tonight, the Kings had 7 turnovers Monday night in that one against Dallas. Tonight, the Kings 12 turnovers in this game, and the Denver Nuggets they had 14 points off those turnovers. The Kings had 19 points off of the Denver Nuggets 13 turnovers in this game. And the Nuggets had 13 turnovers. Jokic had 7 of those turnovers. So he had half the turnovers for the Denver Nuggets in this game. And it's just disappointing. The Kings also, they got to quit fouling 3-point shooters. There was two instincts where they fouled Jamal Murray on a 3-point shot. The first instinct was at the end of the first half, they fouled Jamal Murray. And then that second one, which I laid out a few moments ago, where Keon Ellis fouled Jamal Murray, which wasn't a foul. It was a block, but just unfortunate for the Sacramento Kings, because I just loved how they fought the grit from the adversity. But at the end of the day, this was a loss for the Sacramento Kings. Rebounds +1 by the Denver Nuggets, 46-45 in this game. The Kings actually outshot the Nuggets from 3, 34% by Denver, 40% by the Sacramento Kings in this game. Sacramento in that fourth quarter, just 17 points in that fourth. 32 points by the Nuggets in that fourth. And again, that's where the Kings lost this basketball game tonight. The Kings had 42 points in the fourth quarter against this Denver Nuggets team, as the Kings fall to the Denver Nuggets by 6, 116-110. They are now 32-29 on the season. And right now, just looking at the Western Conference standings, the Kings are right now 9th. They're tied with the Los Angeles Clippers at 32-29. But the Clippers are currently in action right now. They're coming towards the end of the third quarter. Right now it's even there between the Clippers and the Pistons. And as Kings fans, we want the Pistons. If you want the Pistons to win that game tonight. As we head to the end of the third quarter. So you got 12 minutes left in that game. As we head to the fourth quarter, the Clippers have a 2-point lead over the Pistons, and hopefully the Pistons can beat the Clippers in this game. But if the Clippers do end up winning this game, the Sacramento Kings will be in 9th place in that play-in spot. And if you just look at the play-in, you got the Timberwolves, who won tonight. They beat the Charlotte Hornets. They are 7th. You got Dallas, who I believe is going to fall out. And they're in 10th. Then you got Phoenix at 29-33 and 11th. You got the Blazers in 12th at 28-35. They lost tonight against the Boston Celtics. You got the San Antonio Spurs. They're sitting in 13th at 26-34. I think for the Spurs, I do not see them digging themselves out of that hole, because this is a battle that's going to be fascinating to watch as we go into the season. And then you got Golden State. Right now, they're in that 6th spot. That 6th spot in the West, you're going to see a lot of movement in the West from, in my opinion, from that 6th seed on down in this Western Conference that's going to be, because you got all these teams all bundled up close to each other. So it's going to be interesting to see these teams battle it out. And if you're the Kings, you went 3-1 on this road trip. Go win that game Friday night, and then you lace up those shoes, because you are about to hit the gauntlet after Friday night. You're in LA against the Clippers, a game against a team that you've already lost to twice. You're 0-2 against the Clippers. You got to get that game. And then the very next night, you're back home against the New York Knicks. And then you got a couple days off. And then you got a road back-to-back against Golden State and Phoenix next Thursday and Friday. And then after that, you got a massive 7-game homestand that has 2 back-to-backs in it. On this homestand, you got the Memphis Grizzlies, you got Cleveland, who you haven't seen yet so far, you got Chicago, you got Milwaukee, you got Boston, you got Oklahoma City, and you got the Portland Trailblazers. This stretch right here is going to either sink or help the Kings. The Kings right now, they're playing some of the best basketball right now. You got to keep it up. You're playing playoff games. You treat all these games that the Kings are playing, you treat them like playoff games. And tonight was like a playoff game in Denver that you let slip away. But and then after that homestand, you have a 6-game road trip to end the season. Just absolutely brutal to end the season with a 6-game road trip, and then you come home for a 3-game homestand to end the regular season. So Kings lose a tough one against the Nuggets, a game that they let slip away, as they are now 32-29 on the season. Now they come back home for a game Friday night against De'Aaron Fox and the Spurs, and we'll be back for another post-game recap following Kings and Spurs on Friday night. And thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below in the YouTube comments. And if you're listening on your preferred audio platform, Apple, Spotify, please hit that follow button, rate 5 stars, leave a nice little review, be much appreciated. And we're also available wherever else you get your favorite podcasts. Kings lose a tough one. Back home Friday night. We'll see you Friday. And as always, go Kings.